Steve Novick served on Portland City Council between 2013 and 2017, and now he's looking to go back. He's running in the city's new District 3, which includes inner southeast Portland, one of 4 districts created under the new expanded city council that will be elected in November. Novick is an attorney who has worked for the U.S. Department of Justice in the Environmental Division. He's now a special assistant attorney general with the Oregon Department of Justice. Steve Novick joins us in studio. Welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Well, you're the first declared candidate who has already had city council experience. So why are you deciding to do this again?
Well, one thing is, I think that we need to have a more honest conversation than we've sometimes had about the homelessness and housing affordability crisis. And we also need people who are really focused on spending public money as carefully and efficiently as possible, whether the issue is homelessness or crime or climate change.
You served one term before you were defeated by Chloe Daly in 2016. 4 years later, she lost to Mingus Mapps, who's now on the council and is running for mayor. What do you think is different in terms of the election landscape this time around?
Well, I mean, people are obviously going to be running by district, which is new for us, and there's going to be 3 people in each district, so nobody really knows how that's going to play out. I think that one thing that's different in terms of the election landscape is we know what the public's priorities are. I mean, maybe we knew then, but it's really clear now. And the public's priorities are doing something about the homelessness issue and addressing crime. Those are top of mind. And I think people have been frustrated. They seem to have voted for all of these measures for money to address homelessness, and they don't see any progress. So like I said, I think that we need a really honest conversation about that, which is the root of the homelessness crisis is the affordable housing crisis. We're short 90,000 affordable units in the Portland metro area. In that situation, there are going to be some people who are going to not be able to find homes at all, and it's going to take a while to deal with that. I mean, there's things we can do to speed up housing production, like change some of the zoning laws, fix the permitting process, cut back on some of the fees that people have to pay. They're basically taxes on housing, but that's going to take a while. And in the meantime, we can't allow unlimited, unregulated camping until we have an affordable home for everybody. We need to get people off the streets into safe places, like, the sleeping pods in the Safe Rest villages, which are, a lot of people, they don't want to go to a shelter where they're piled one on top of each other like sardines, but the sleeping pods are something, a little structure where you can go and close the door. And we need more of those. We also need more places to put them. I was talking to one of the people who's working on this yesterday. He was saying, in Portland, you run out of sites. So we need to be reaching out to East Multnomah County, Clackamas County, Washington County to see if there are sites there where we can have more of these safe rest village type places. And that actually strikes me as an issue where ultimately you might want to get the governor involved.
As a matter of fact, the governor did get involved. She put together a task force of interested stakeholders. They came out with their recommendations. What did you think of those recommendations, and what did you think about the governor's initiative to bring these forces together?
I think, the governor's on the right track. One of the things she's done is set housing production targets, and here's how much housing we need to build in the state and in the region over time. And that's really important. But again, there's things that we can do to speed up housing production, but it takes time. I was a champion on the council of legalizing what's called middle housing, duplexes and triplexes in places where they were illegal. And that helps to generate more housing, but it takes time. Having a better permitting system would help generate more housing, but it's going to be a while till we get to 90,000 affordable units.
If we do cite more safe rest villages outside of city limits, then obviously we're going to have to get Multnomah County involved. And if you do that, then you have to deal with the issue of the disconnect that we've seen in the past between the city and the county when it comes to dealing with homeless issues.
Yeah, and that's, a huge issue. The county has the vast majority of the money to deal with homeless issues, and there's been obviously real conflict between the city and the county over the past couple of years. I think that is getting somewhat better. I was talking to Julia Brim-Edwards, who's my county commissioner, and she is very hopeful that there could be better city-county communication. I mean, that's absolutely essential. And that is, I mean, it used to be true, I don't know if it's true quite somewhere, that the city was blamed for all of the issues and nobody paid attention to the county. Now people are beginning to realize the county has a role too. But I mean, hopefully the county will listen to the city about things like, look, we're running out of sites. We need you to help in East Multnomah County. You need to talk to the other counties.
The other major issue, the fentanyl crisis, the battle over Measure 110, which decriminalized street drugs. What do you think about Measure 110 and the issues associated with it?
I mean, I think that you do need to do something to for law enforcement to be a tool for intervention to get people on the road to recovery. I think that, I mean, I voted for Measure 110, a majority of people did, and I mean, the abstract idea that we shouldn't be, that, you know, drugs are a treatment issue, it's not a criminal issue. In the abstract, that sounded good, but what it's meant, and we should have thought of this, I mean, is that it means that you lose the opportunity for law enforcement to intervene and put people on the right track. And allowing law enforcement to intervene doesn't mean you throw everybody in jail, but it does mean that you can get people off the streets and into treatment. So I think that some modification of Measure 110 is absolutely necessary.
We got about just 30 seconds left here, but I want to ask you about the new configuration of city council that you're trying to get reelected to. In this case, there will be 12 councilors instead of 5, and a city administrator, city manager, will be in charge of the bureaus as opposed to individual commissioners being in charge of bureaus. When you were a city commissioner, you were in charge of transportation. So what do you think about a city manager taking over those bureau duties? Before
I get to that, I want to chip back to public safety for a minute and just say that it is true that we need more police on the street. One question is, which police doing what? We need more patrol. We also need more people, more detectives. There's a whole bunch of, there's virtually no detectives assigned to burglary. I have a friend whose business is burglarized 3 times in 3 months. So as we rebuild the police department, we need to figure out how that money is distributed to be most effective. On the form of government, I thought the old form was problematic because when you give commissioners bureaus, 2 things happen. That bureau becomes all important to them and all the other bureaus become unimportant to them. So I was frustrated sometimes. I was a transportation commissioner and I felt like my colleagues weren't paying enough attention to the transportation funding crisis. And I realized after I was out that, well, unfortunately, that's kind of the way the system was designed. It was designed so only one person at a time was supposed to really care about transportation. So I think the idea of having a city manager is good. And hopefully have a council that works more as a team where everybody understands they're responsible for all the issues. And I do kind of think, I mean, it's going to be a council of almost entirely new people, maybe entirely new people. And I think it might be useful to have somebody like me who's been there and, can tell people, can be the wise old head like Andre Iguodala was in the Golden State Warriors, dispensing wisdom to the new people.
Steve Novick, thank you for being on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you very much.